Located in Central America, just south of the tip of Mexico, is the tiny country of Belize. Known for the Great Blue Hole, ancient Mayan ruins, and the world's second most extensive barrier reef system, second only to Australia, Belize is an incredible country that offers so much to tourists. It's also a world-famous destination for both snorkelers and scuba divers. In today's video, I'm sharing 10 things that you must know before visiting Belize, and more specifically before visiting San Pedro, which is a popular town found on Ambergris Caye. Plus, I'll tell you exactly where we did the best snorkeling that we've ever done in our entire lives. So, in no particular order, let's get into it. Number 1, to get from Belize City to San Pedro, you have 2 options. Number 1 would be take a plane, and number 2 would be take a ferry. Although the plane ride is not cheap, if you have the money to take the plane, it is my strong recommendation that that is what you do. The plane ride is such a convenient option because you catch the plane from the Belize City Airport, which is where you already are after flying into Belize. Alternatively, the ferry ride lasts about 3 hours, and you have to leave the airport to go to where the ferry leaves from. In addition to being the way more convenient option, the plane ride is really spectacular because you are flying directly over breathtaking blue and green and turquoise waters of the Caribbean Ocean. Just look at these views. And if you're the first passenger on the plane, you get to sit in the cockpit right next to the pilot, which just makes the whole experience that much more exciting. There are flights to San Pedro pretty much every hour, and you don't even have to buy them in advance. When Eve and I arrived at the Belize City Airport, we simply walked up to the ticket counter and purchased 2 round-trip tickets on the next flight to San Pedro. Pro tip, this is actually the more affordable approach to buying these tickets. When we were looking at buying them in advance online, they were costing about $200 each. And then when we bought them directly at the ticket counter at the airport, they were only about $175. Number 2, to make the most of your time in San Pedro, you will definitely need to rent a golf cart for the duration of your stay. Golf carts are the main mode of transportation for both tourists and residents, and you will see them everywhere. Luckily, reserving one requires no advanced preparation because there are rental shops all over the place and you can simply walk in and rent your cart for however many days you need it. Our cart cost us about $45 a day, but this price will definitely vary depending on where you rent it and also how many days you're going to be renting the cart. Having a golf cart is a necessity for 2 main reasons. Number 1, San Pedro is a fairly spread out town, which means that getting from place to place takes way longer than you might expect. And secondly, depending on the time of year that you go, it might be too hot to be walking around. By the way, if you're enjoying this video or if you've discovered something new, please give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Another really important thing to know before heading to San Pedro to enjoy the iconic marine life is that all the good snorkeling and scuba diving happens off of a boat. In other words, you can't just walk up from the beach into the water and expect to see anything interesting, the way you can in Hawaii, for example. This means that you'll need to join a tour offered by a tour company that can take you out on a boat, which adds another expense to the experience. Most organized tours happen once in the morning around 9 or 9:30 a.m. and then also once in the afternoon around 1:30 p.m. The most common dive and snorkel spots off of Ambergris Caye are at the Hol Chan Marine Reserve, which has a $10 in cash entry fee. In this marine reserve is a spot called Shark Ray Alley, which is where you'll find a ton of nurse sharks and a couple stingrays. We ended up going to this spot twice, and it was definitely interesting, but also very, very crowded. So just keep that in mind that you're going to be swimming around with a lot of other folks. So this spot was really cool to see, and also it is super famous, but it did not compare to our favorite snorkeling tour that we did while on this trip. We are heading to the illustrious Mexico Rocks, and we were able to get our own tour, so we are super excited. For $100 a person, we booked a 3-hour private tour with Under the Sea. Our 2 tour guides were phenomenal and took us to 3 amazing spots, starting at Mexico Rocks. On this tour, the guides got into the water with us and pointed out all the different types of fish and coral that we were seeing, so it was not only fun, but also educational. My favorite part of this tour was the second stop, which was at a really shallow part of the ocean where we were swimming with and petting nurse sharks and stingrays. There were nurse sharks and stingrays at Shark Ray Alley, but at this location, we were so much more up close and personal with them. We were petting them and they were swimming all around us. And again, we were the only 2 people in the water. So it was truly a private and magical experience. And the third stop on this unforgettable tour was to a shipwreck site. So it was really interesting to see an authentic shipwreck. And again, we were the only people out there. So my fourth fact for you is that the tour companies that offer these scuba diving and snorkeling tours pretty much only offer them if there are at least 4 passengers on board. Maybe this isn't an issue during high season, but we went during the low season and it was definitely an issue because Eve and I were just 2 people, and a lot of the tours that we wanted to do weren't being offered because they couldn't find 2 more folks. So after calling several companies trying to organize tours, we ended up getting shut down a lot. While this was certainly an annoying experience, there are 2 things that you can do to avoid this. The first would be organizing a group that is at least 4 people. That means that you can either bring 3 friends with you to Belize or make friends with other tourists that you happen to encounter at your hotel or when you're out and about in the town. The second thing that you can do is to simply pay more money to do a private tour. I already mentioned that our favorite snorkeling tour that Eve and I did was a private tour, and it was totally worth it to have the entire experience to ourselves. Number 5, Belize is such an easy tourist destination for Americans for 2 main reasons. Number 1 being that English is the official language of Belize. This means that everyone speaks English, all the menus are in English, all the websites for the hotels and snorkeling tours are in English, so there is literally no language barrier if you don't speak another language. And the second reason why Belize is a convenient destination for American tourists is that the official currency of Belize is the Belizean dollar, but American dollars are accepted pretty much anywhere. And the conversion rate math is really easy to do in your head. $1 equals 2 Belizean dollars. Things can be paid for using a combination of both American and Belizean dollars. So for example, if you bought a meal that cost 15 American dollars, you could pay with $10 and 10 Belizean dollars, because that equals about 15 US dollars. So being able to bring American dollars with us and use that money made the trip preparation that much easier. On the topic of money, you should have a realistic expectation of how much things cost in Belize if you're planning a trip there. Our impression was that things were not as affordable as we expected them to be. A meal with fish usually cost me about 20 US dollars, and vegetarian meals cost around 12 US dollars, about on par with American prices. And even though we went during the low season, hotels were also pretty expensive. Our hotel, for example, costs around 160 US dollars per night, and it's definitely more on the affordable end when compared to other hotels in the area. I already told you how much the snorkeling tours cost and the plane ride and the golf cart, so altogether this was not a very economical trip, which definitely surprised me, and I just want to make sure that you have proper expectations before you get down there. In number 8, visit Secret Beach. Literally every person that we encountered recommended that we visit Secret Beach. We made it to the Secret Beach, and yeah, we're just snorkeling. There's not much to see, but we are on this trip to snorkel and scuba, so that is what we are doing. Secret Beach is a beach that is obviously not a secret, but it is located northwest of San Pedro. It's a good hour-long drive from downtown San Pedro, so again, you're definitely going to need a golf cart to get out there. The road was very bumpy, but also incredibly scenic as you are passing by a vast wetland with a ton of mangrove trees. Once you get to Secret Beach, you'll find beachfront restaurants and bars with ample seating where you can stretch out and just relax. And the main attraction to the Secret Beach is all of the picnic tables and chairs that are actually out in the middle of the ocean. The water is warm, shallow, and calm, which makes this an ideal situation because you can be sitting out at your picnic table in the middle of the water and the waitress or waiter will come out to you with your food and drinks. Now, if I'm keeping it real with you, the Secret Beach was way more idyllic in pictures than it was in real life. It was really giving Instagram versus reality, but I still enjoyed going out there because the swimming was really nice. As I said, the water was really calm and shallow, and also I loved the drive out there. The sky is so wide open and you're just surrounded by nature. It was really enjoyable. Number 9, San Pedro had a lot of catcalling happening. Eve and I both felt like this was the most we had been catcalled, maybe ever, but at least in a very, very long time. Pretty much any time we left the hotel, we were being catcalled. It didn't matter if we were walking or driving by in our golf carts. The catcalling was non-stop. The good thing is that it never made us feel unsafe or in danger. It was more so obnoxious and uncomfortable. I feel like it's something you should definitely know, especially if you're traveling as a solo woman. And lastly, my 10th thing that you must know before going to San Pedro, Belize is to bring bug spray. The mosquitoes were out to play. There were definitely fewer mosquitoes on the eastern side of the island right along the beach, but every time we were more inland, the mosquitoes were a huge problem, which might be as expected because it is a tropical country in Central America, but it's still worth saying because getting bitten by a ton of bugs can be a quick way to ruin your vacation. So those were my 10 things that you must know before visiting San Pedro, Belize. If you've already been to San Pedro and I missed any important tips, please drop them below in the comment section. Also, if you have any questions about my experience, feel free to drop those in the comments or shoot me an email. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please give it a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button for more exploration, inspiration, and travel tips, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!